minutes to follow up with our friends that are not here and make sure that they are prepared to join us for class. I have 5 people on our Nearpod. I should have 8, so I'm waiting on 3 people. I have Alexis, Dwayne, Eddie, Samaj, and Takia on the Nearpod. Thank you, Arabia. I have you on the Nearpod now. So I think I'm just waiting on Soraya and Caleb. Please make sure you guys get onto the Nearpod. Okay, 8:01, we have 1 more minute to get ourselves set up. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Soraya, for getting onto the Nearpod. For those of you guys just joining us, please make sure you were logging into the Nearpod and getting yourselves set up. Great, I have 10 people in the Nearpod, so I should just be waiting on 1 more. Great, it looks like everybody is on their Nearpod. For those of you guys just coming in, as a heads up, we are going to go into more detail with this tomorrow. Interacting with the Nearpod is going to affect your Zoom engagement grade. So please make sure you are interacting with Nearpod when prompted, either for open response, collab boards, or our fill in the blank oral drill quiz. Those are all going to have an effect on your participation grade. So as a reminder, our APUSH norms, we are all in. Your attendance and cold call responses, in addition to your Nearpod, are going to impact a quiz grade every other week. Zoom expectations, make sure your video is on, your microphones are off, and you are only chatting when prompted. Please make sure you get those videos on and push that academic engagement. As always, you can find all of your assignments in Nearpod in Google Classroom. Your homework, which will be due next week, is going to be posted later today, so you can get started on it early. And also make sure you set up a learning space. Make sure you have a Chromebook and you gather all materials that you need to have a productive day of class. Looks like I have everybody in the Nearpod. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go over our expectations for the day. Soraya, can you please read our materials for the day, the left-hand column?
Notes from Friday's lecture, Google assignment pulled out, Nearpod access, and all other tabs closed.
Beautiful, thank you very much. And Tisa, can you please read our agenda for the day?
Norms and agenda, do now, oral drill, doc analysis, discourse.
Beautiful, thank you very much. Okay, for those of you guys just coming in, please make sure that you are logging into today's Nearpod. I'm gonna resend the link because we might be having some tech issues. I'm gonna send the link one time into the Zoom chat. There you go. So if you need to get into the Nearpod, again, for those of you guys just coming in, being a part of Nearpod and actively engaging with it is going to affect a Zoom grade. So make sure you are doing it. And you are following along, contributing in the fill in the blank, collab boards, and open responses. Today, we are going to be reading a portion, a secondary source in your class packets. So this is what everybody should have a copy of. And you are going to read page 1. Sorry, I'm having some issues. You are going to read page 1 of the Do Now, which is page 1 of your classwork packet. And then you are going to transition to Nearpod and respond to the prompt in Nearpod. So again, you are reading page 1 of your classroom packet, and then you are going to be responding in the Nearpod. You are going to have 5 minutes to do so. Go ahead and get started. I will open up the response on Nearpod in 2 minutes. Make sure you are thoroughly reading. 5 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and get started. I have 15 people in the Nearpod. I should have 18. You have 3 more minutes. I'll be opening up the Nearpod in 30 seconds. The question and Nearpod are now open. You have 1 minute. You should be responding in the Nearpod now. I'm going to give us 1 more minute. You have 2 minutes to finish reading and responding into the Nearpod. 2 minutes. One more minute. Everybody should be typing into the Nearpod. Thank you, Shakeem. I have your response. Thank you, Giovanni, for your response. Thank you, Takia. Thank you, Arabia. Thank you. I'm at 25% in the Nearpod. Go ahead and start pressing submit, even if you did not finish. We're at 30%. Again, even if you did not finish, go ahead and submit whatever you got through. Great, time is up. I'm at 40%. Again, please press submit. Remember, contributing into Nearpod is going to affect your Zoom participation grade. Okay, I'm at 50. Okay, I'm still at only 50%. Awesome responses, highlighting the difference between the old lights and the new lights. Can I have Shakeem, I'm going to have your response shared on the Nearpod. Can you please read it aloud?
These cultural movements like the Great Awakening contributed to the separation between American colonies and Great Britain because the old lights would be against any new methods of preaching by ministers.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we are at 75% submissions on the Nearpod. Great job. We are going to switch into the fill in the blank. You are going to have 3 minutes as usual to go ahead and get started. 3 minutes. Thank you, Eddie, Arabia, and Shakeem for finishing up. Great job, Caleb, 9 out of 9. Great job, Alexis, 9 out of 9. Great job, Yabdi, Mela, 9 out of 9. Great job, Takia, 9 out of 9. 90 more seconds to finish up. Great job, Yabdi, Kamaya, Mela, 9s out of 9s. One more minute. Twenty more seconds. Go ahead and work on finishing submitting. Great job, Soraya. Great job, Jalasia, 9s out of 9s. Great, go ahead. Time is up. Go ahead and finish submitting whatever you have. Pretty sure I shouted out all the 9s out of 9s, but I apologize if I missed you. Great job, Tisa. Awesome job today, you guys. We are going to be spending today looking at the Great Awakening and answering this, this main inquiry. Arabia, can you please unmute and read aloud our main inquiry for the day?
To what extent did the ideas and practices of the Great Awakening expand individual liberty in the colonies?
Beautiful. Thank you very much. And I want us to take a look at this question. So we're looking at, today we're examining Great Awakening and individual liberty in the colonies. I forgot to put a date in there, but in the 1600s. I want us to take 1 minute in the Nearpod together to brainstorm outside information. So again, this outside information or key terms that you can come up with, we might have gone over in the oral drill. We might have gone over it in the do now, or you might have read it in your homework. So we're going to take 1 minute as a class to brainstorm these key terms into the collab board on Nearpod. You have 1 minute to add your key terms. 1 minute. Again, any outside information or key terms that you think might be related to the Great Awakening. Beautiful. I see some great key terms coming in from the do now. Let's try and push our thinking. What about the fill in the blank or our lecture about religion? Let's do this for 20 more seconds. I want to see some key terms related to either our lecture from last Friday or Thursday and the fill in the blank, the oral drill. Great, I see some awesome contributions from Shakeem, Yabdi, Kamaya, Alexis, Arabia, Giovanni, Jalasia. Beautiful. Snaps to Dwayne for including that Rhode Island is a place of religious refuge, for mentioning that Rhode Island is a special place. Great. So whenever we do a document analysis, we are going to be using Nearpod like this to brainstorm together some outside evidence. But now we are going to transition back to that main inquiry, which, as Arabia said, is to what extent did the ideas and practices of the Great Awakening expand individual liberty in the colonies? You are going to have 16 minutes to read and annotate your the primary sources in your classwork. Make sure you are fully annotating them for your four corners, significance, and since statements. Again, you are going to have 16 minutes, and then we are going to come back together as a group to discuss these documents. 16 minutes on the clock to read and annotate. Please chat me private questions. I will also occasionally prompt you to share either your POV or your historical context or even your significant statement into the Zoom chat for certain documents at certain timestamps. So 16 minutes on the clock. We are independently working. Listen for my prompts to share via chat. Go ahead and get started. You have 13 minutes left. You should be working on your significance and since statement for document 1. 12 minutes, in the Zoom chat, please chat out your POV annotations for document 2. Again, in the Zoom chat, please chat out your POV annotations for document 2. Thank you, Dwayne, for chatting me. Again, I'm looking for the POV corner for document number 2. Thank you, Shakeem. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, Mela. Thank you, Jalasia. Very detailed, Giovanni and Shakeem. Everybody please pause your annotations. I'm going to address a question that I just got in the chat that might be an issue for everybody. In document 2, where it says local inhabitants, I want to say that is document 2 or document 3. Jalesia, can you clarify for me which document you read that in? 2, thank you. Thank you, Jalesia. So in document 2, where it says inhabitants, that's referring to Native Americans. So where it says inhabitants in document 2, that is referring to Native Americans. Go ahead and resume your annotations. You have 9 minutes. Oh, where it says letters to the inhabitants of Maryland and Virginia. Yes, it's the people that live there. So that includes like all of the white slave owners. I apologize. I was looking at the body of the excerpt, not the source line. 7 more minutes. Everybody, please pause your annotations. Please, into the Zoom chat, type your POV annotation for document 3. So in the Zoom chat, your POV annotation for document 3. Thank you, Shakeem. Thank you, Soraya. Thank you, Jalasia. Thank you, Leah. Great, thank you very much. Please resume your annotations. You have 5 minutes. 3.5 more minutes. Ninety more seconds. One more minute. Okay, that is the end of 16 minutes. Please redirect your attention to the Zoom screen where I'm going to chart our responses to this question. So our essential question today, while looking at these 4 documents, is to what extent did the Great Awakening encourage or not encourage individual liberty? So let's start first with that they did encourage. To what extent did the Great Awakening encourage individual liberty? Can I hear from Kamaya and then Yabdi?
You said for the did encourage?
Yes, please.
In document 2,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it presents individual liberty because like people usually promoted the old version of Christianity instead of the new version, where George Whitefield believes that the detrimental acts of violence of slaves should be stopped because they also have natural rights and deserve equality.
Mm-hmm. So you have this new type of Christianity fighting against this. And by individual liberty, I mean like individualism, like where each person deserves their own individual rights, or has their own individual rights. I just saw a clarifying question in the chat. And who did I call in? Yabdi. Yabdi, can you please build or corroborate what Kamaya said?
I think that it barely expanded liberty in the colonies because they still had like in document 2 it says that slaves still did not have equal privilege. So they didn't have the same rights, even though they were focused on religion and spreading the gospel.
Great. Yeah, so what Yabdi just did is she saw how one single document both shows how they would encourage and not encourage rights. So I like what we've done with document 2. Let me just get a hand. What is another way that either document 1 or document 3 fits into this? How does either document 1 or document 3 fit in? It can be on either side of the chart. Shakim.
Isn't that document 3 doesn't encourage it because like I think like what's his name, Henchman, he's like saying that the new methods of worshiping God goes against the traditional Christianity religion. So I think it's like he's saying that basically it's not allowing the religion of Christianity to actually grow. So like only by worshiping through the traditional ways that you can actually be successful in worshiping God.
Great, thank you, Shakim. Great, I see some people saying that document 1 does show how it encourages it. Can we build on that? Alexis, would you mind building on why document 1 encourages it?
I said document 1 encourages it because it's talking about how the ministers were preaching the word to people, and then this like the author he converted to Christianity at age 17, and he started believing in God.
Great. I love that we're contributing in the Zoom chat. That's really awesome. Whenever we're contributing in the Zoom chat, make sure we're sending those messages to everybody. So that way everybody can look and build on our ideas for when we have this whole group discourse. When we annotate documents, this is what our whole group discourse is going to look like. I'm going to share my screen either via Zoom on the whiteboard here or with my iPad, and I'm going to be charting, and you are going to be able to use this chart to answer the exit ticket. So it's important that you take notes alongside the chart. We are going to stop here and transition to the exit ticket where you write a thesis, make sure you establish a line of reasoning, and make sure in the corroboration part of your exit ticket, you say how any of these 3 documents corroborates what your argument is. So again, how do these 3 documents corroborate your argument in your thesis? You're going to use the remainder of class. Once I see that you've submitted your exit ticket, you will be free to go. And I'm going to have to exit out of this sharing so that way I can monitor your exit tickets. 2 more minutes. Try to get this submitted in 2 minutes. Mahmoud, you may go. Okay, go ahead and start submitting so that way you guys can enjoy your break. Shakeem, I just got yours. Make sure for your corroboration that you're including 2 documents, and make sure you list which documents those are. Tisa, I got yours. Corroboration means agree or support. So which documents corroborate, so which documents support your argument. Jaleja, I got yours. Go ahead and finish up whatever you are writing in the next 60 seconds. I know I got us started late on today's exit ticket, so I'll be grading for completion. So as long as you got through both parts, you're good. So go ahead and start submitting whatever you have. I have Kayla's, Soraya's, Giovanni's, and Arabia's.